All right, ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about this Vatharian boss fight in Black Ops 7 Zombies. So with Ashes of the Damned come out, the very first reaction to this map is, oh my, it is just stunning. The entire map is beautiful. The layout is great. As we started getting into the main quest and the Easter egg hunts and all that, honestly, you know, it did pretty well. I did pretty good myself and my crew. We did okay on the launch day when we were hunting the main quest. We weren't able to get there to the boss fight. We didn't have all of the people in the information that a lot of other people had, but we were able to get the wonder weapon built. We were able to make good steps toward the main quest, and it was a ton of fun doing the entire Easter egg search. I think the main quest itself is really good here. Aside from a couple fiddly steps that, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing changed. I wouldn't mind having a little bit more time to do the lightning steps, so maybe you could do it on one round instead of 2 different rounds. Especially if you're solo. If you're doing it one round with people, yeah, you can definitely do it one if you have a crew with you. But if you're solo, you're probably not getting that done in 60 seconds, so you're going to have to do that one twice. But everything else is laid out pretty well. The story makes sense of how it all progresses through the main quest in order to get to the boss fight. All of that makes sense, and it is a wonderful design. But then we come into this Vatharian fight. And of course, you have Tessy, your wonder vehicle here. And, well, it's also your wonder weapon at the same freaking time. Why do I have to fight this boss with a fucking truck? Come on, Treyarch. Come on. Now, it's fine. Having Tessy involved in this, great. The wonder weapon, or the wonder vehicle, rather, is supposed to be an integral part of this map, and it is an integral part of the map. You need it to navigate the map. You need it to get out of certain situations, especially when you're doing the main quest. So Tessy is very important. It's also your pack-a-punch machine. So they've done a great job of making this very first wonder vehicle something truly special. But they have taken it way too far by making it pretty much the only way to beat this boss. I don't like it. I think it is poor design. It really detracts from the replayability of this map. After the very first time I was in this boss fight, my very first gut reaction was, I don't want to do this again. And it was never like that. In Black Ops 6 Zombies, now this is only my second round-based zombies game. Black Ops 6 Zombies, I never had that. I did boss fights all year long, every single map, and doing boss fights all of the time. One of my most fun things to do on the channel is to go in and test out all the different weapons, see what the best way to beat the boss and everything is. That was fun to me, and I really enjoyed it. And I know a lot of you liked watching those types of videos. But this map doesn't give you that option. There's just no option to use your weapon. You have a few different chances here and there. Whenever you knock him from his immune phase, you have the yellow weak spots on the underside of his body. Those are about the only times that you can shoot him with a weapon, and that it's actually viable for you to shoot him with a weapon. Other than that, you are in Tessy the entire time. The truck does not handle very well. It's atrocious to drive. It dies pretty quickly. You cannot even avoid all of the spam attacks. Perhaps you could fight this thing with a weapon if you could avoid all of the spam missile attacks. But a lot of that is just kind of RNG based. And after 5 times through, I failed 4 times in this boss fight before I finally beat it. And it has nothing to do with the difficulty of the fight. I just think it's poorly designed because it's not something that I want to go back into game and do. Now that I have it done, now that I've beat the boss, I don't have a good, legitimate reason to want to do it again because it's not a fun experience. At least, I mean, this is my very humble opinion, and your opinion may very well be different. Please, just be nice in the comments down below. Don't argue with people. Don't be mean. Everybody's got their own opinion. If you think this is fun, awesome. Good for you. I don't think this is fun. I don't think it is widely replayable. If I just had to use Tessy for certain things, say maybe opening up its crit spots or stopping his immunity phase, if that's what I need a Tessy for, awesome. You've incorporated Tessy into the boss fight, you've made it integral, and that would have been fantastic. But that's not what they did. They made it your primary weapon, and I'm playing a first-person shooter game. This is an FPS game. Call of Duty Zombies. It's a first-person shooter. Why am I fighting a boss with a fucking vehicle? Oh, it is so incredibly frustrating because this map could have been so much better if this wasn't the boss fight. And it's not even that the boss fight is overly hard. I would say it is borderline unfair, especially for solo. But then again, I've never played it in a squad, so maybe it's more unfair in a squad. Hell, I don't know. I'm sure you all got to get into the truck anyway, but at least you'd have some extra ether shrouds in order to heal the truck. So I guess that's one thing that might make the squad fights just a little bit easier. But again, I've never really done it in a squad. I've only done it solo. But all of these missile attacks that are just all over this map all of the time, they make it to where you can't get out of the truck. You have to be in the truck because there's just too many of them. They're spammy and they will just knock you right down. So they've made the truck your only way of beating it. At least that's all we've discovered to this point. Maybe there is an alternative way. I don't know, but I do not like the design whatsoever. They've taken a great map, a great Easter egg. Honestly, best Easter egg that I have played in a round-based zombies map. And I've done some of the old ones. The older games just don't do it for me. I like the modern zombies. And again, you might like all the older stuff. You don't like the newer stuff. That's fine. Again, opinions, baby. We're all allowed to have them, right? But this has been an incredible map and a map that I'm very excited to play. But this is not a main quest that I have any desire to go in. This Necrofluid Gauntlet, I love the Necrofluid Gauntlet. I think it's great. I think it could use a small buff to make it a little bit more viable at high rounds, but I love the fact that you can use it to overheal yourself, and it works great on the map, and it does a lot of cool things. And I think they've overall done a great job with Ashes of the Dam, our first map here for BO7. But this boss fight just, it really pulls it down a notch. Where I would have said maybe this map was like a 9 out of 10, at least my opinion. I'd have given it a 9 out of 10. Where I may have said this map is a 9 out of 10, you know, I'm going to have to say probably more like a 7. Maybe a 6. Only because of this boss fight. I want to play the bosses. I want to do the Easter eggs, and I want to just constantly replay the bosses. But this fight just doesn't give me that feeling, and I just don't want to go in and do this boss fight again because I don't want to drive this fucking truck around anymore. I'm honestly kind of tired of Tessy. For the amount that this thing breaks down all of the time, it's like driving around an old Ford F-150 or I don't know, Ford. Yeah, they just break down, right? They're notorious for breaking down. I feel like Tessy is definitely a Ford because it just doesn't have that durability, right? But yeah, I'm definitely sick of driving this truck around and smashing into this floating monster. That would have been so cool if I could have just taken in some really awesome weapons and just freaking demolish this guy over and over and over and over and over again, because that is what is fun whenever you're able to drive me back. But Treyarch, you don't have me here. I don't know if you have anybody else. Let me know down below. Do they have you? Is this a replayable fight for you? Do you enjoy it? I need to know. Let me know your comments. Just keep it respectful. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Cool Whip, and I'm out.